and welcome to another episode of Lexx Education, the comedy science podcast where comedian me, Laura Lexx, tries to learn science from her microphone-forgetting younger brother, Normal Ron.
Hello, I'm Normal Ron.
How's it going, Ron?
It's good. I'm tired. I'm making black bean burgers for dinner.
Ooh, how'd you do that? Are you soaking your beans?
I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast 100 times. I've become a dry bean guy.
Yeah. I don't think we have talked about it on the podcast. I think you just told me a lot about it when I was in Brussels. Yeah,
but I'm loving it.
Ron's got a real sexy organic supermarket really near his house, and he goes there and does refillable boxes of beans and stuff.
Yeah.
European supermarkets are so much nicer. They just have really fit lighting. They don't have these strip lights that make everybody look like they haven't slept for a week. They have down lighting and cute little lamps.
Big up Del Hayes. No, it's good. Actually, it's a farm. It's called a farm. The one that I took you to, the bougie one.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice because usually when I make this recipe, big up SeriousEats.com. Best recipe website I know.
Better than BBC Good Food.
BBC Good Food has a lot of gems, but I feel like you have to kiss a lot of frogs with BBC Good Food. Whereas Serious Eats, it's not necessarily super fancy food, but it's kind of it's got a lot of the molecular gastronomy stuff in it, where it'll be this is just a really scientific way of doing this, and that's where I got the mac and cheese recipe from. But yeah, usually you have to dry out your beans so that your bean burgers aren't too squishy. But if I cook my own beans, I'm not gonna have that issue, Laura. And I can't wait.
This is amazing, Ron.
And you put in peppers, and you put in feta and cashew nuts for the protein, and for some reason 2 scoops of mayo.
I love mayo.
Me too. It's right in the burgers.
I watched a really bad film the other day that you've probably never seen, but it's called The Whole Nine Yards. Anybody that's my age or older will remember this from the early 90s with Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry. And one of the main plot points in that is how no one likes mayonnaise. I was watching the whole thing I love mayonnaise.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one of those things that comes up, and it's just where are all these people that don't like mayonnaise and hate the word moist?
Yeah.
You just don't see them in real life.
Moist is always my first guess on Wordle.
Is it?
I do moist, and then I do vague, and that gets all of my vowels out into...
I mean... 20 years ago when I was playing Wordle, I would go adieu.
Let that slide.
Adieu, because then you just bang out basically all of the vowels, follow that up with a strop, because then you've got STR in there, which,
yeah. Well, there you go. There's your up to the minute. What's everyone doing on the internet chat?
Topical as always.
I mean, who's in this for anything other than Bean Chat and Wordle? Right, now listen. At the very top of the show, we've got a little.
There's so much for us to talk about, Laura.
Why did we just do that? Anyway, listen.
We haven't chatted much recently.
No, we haven't. I've been very busy. There's a new Patreon episode this Friday. Hello to all of the Fab Rats in the Patreon. If you would like to join the Patreon, go to patreon.com/Lexx Education. This week, I am going to be explaining to Ron what glass is. I am in Detentron, and I've done some research all by myself, and I've learned what glass is, and I will be telling Ron. So if you'd like to join us, then sign up at the Patreon. It's only £3 a month, and that gets you an extra episode, and you might make it so that we can afford to keep doing this. We have been chatting as well. We are going to increase the number of extra episodes as the Patreon subscription grows. So the more people that join, the more fun stuff you'll get. So jump on board and be part of the swell, and then we'll have more and more episodes the more people join.
Yep, and as you sign up from now on, you'll hear at the end of this episode, you're going to get a lovely shout-out. We're going to... I don't really know how to describe it. You're just going to have to hear it then.
Ron, I think, is exercising his creative writing desires and has decided that everybody that signs up to the Lexx Education Patreon will be getting their own personalised shout-out, complete with a job role at Lexx Education HQ. So, Hey, that's his project. He's having a lovely time.
Or just kind of, where you fit into the Lexx Education lore.
Yes. We're becoming a little world. It's Tolkien-esque. Now, that's Ron's project for the week, and you can hear those at the end of the episode. I thought we could play a fun game this week, which is all about spreading the love of Lexx Education. So, you might have noticed every week we choose the episode title based on a line that we enjoy, that one of us says when we're listening back and editing. But every week...
It's usually the person that's editing likes their own jokes and picks them out.
Pretty much. But there's normally like 3 or 4 in a short list, because as you're listening through, you make a note and then we pick the one that we like best at the end. So I thought we could do a fun thing, see if you like this game. This week there were 4 options shortlisted of little standout lines that could have been an episode title. We chose one of them, and we want you to try and guess what the one of the other 3 was. So tweet us or comment on Instagram or Facebook or what's the other one? TikTok. God, I've never sounded older than that, have I? So comment somewhere publicly with what line you think might have been in the running for the title this week.
Tag us, though. We're not going to go searching for it.
No, comment on our stuff, Ron.
Oh, okay.
Or tweet us. Yeah, don't just write it on a wall
don't just
somewhere
post
and hope
about
that we
it.
see it. No, tag us in so we can see it. And then we thought, that's quite fun. We can see what you think the episode title might have been, and it's a sneaky way of sharing all the little funny lines from Lexx Education to make all those other idiots that aren't listening go, ooh, that does sound funny. What are they talking about? And then we can have a million listeners, and it'll all be brilliant.
And, we'll probably tell you how brilliant you are in the next episode.
Yeah, so I don't know what the prize will be. We might be able to send you a hat, or it might just be a shout-out on the episode. We'll see where we go with that. We'll see what the week turns into. But yeah, we would love to swell the listening ranks of the podcast, and we know that you guys listening are super engaged and really helpful and lovely, but obviously this is a completely... DIY project. We don't have producers or backers or sponsors or anything, so all of the people we can gather, it's down to us and you. So thank you, and I think it might be quite a fun game for you to play. Or it's shit and I'm being really patronising, don't know. One or the other. Ooh. But anyway, right, we're going to jump into the episode now. It's radioactivity this week, and it is it's quite fun actually. I quite liked this one. Good
episode, yeah. Do you want to sing the song to take us in?
I don't even know what song you mean. I'm focusing so hard. Radioactive! Radioactive! Right, have a lovely time. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Laura.
How are you?
Excited.
Oh, that's
spicy.
Cool. Spicy. What are you spicy about?
Flying to Mexico tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Yes, I mean, this is confusing for the listener because it's February now.
Back by the time that your ears are sipping up this hot cocoa.
You're going to be a haggard old goat again. All of the rest and relaxation will have worn off. You'll be a little skank.
I don't know how I'm going to react because I've never been on holiday for this long before.
How long? You're away for 2 weeks, aren't you?
More than that. So I'm worried that the cat's climbed in this open fridge behind me. Yucky! Yucky! Oh,
maybe she's playing Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
No, I've just called her closer towards the fridge. Oh, she's walking. Okay, she's fine. I've never been on holiday for this long before.
Are you actually doing some relaxing, or are you adventuring every day?
There are some places that we're going to for 5 days, so there will be time to relax. I'm awful at relaxing.
Have you spent all your money on this holiday?
Yes.
A little poor boy.
Yes. No, I just make loads of money.
Oh, give me some of it.
No, you make more money than I do.
I doubt I do. I highly doubt I do. Anyway, I expect we will have discussed this holiday many, many times over in intros and outros between then and this going out. So, Ron, it's physics today, which doesn't usually bode well for us, but you said that it will be okay today in a textual message.
It's not going to be too bad today because what we're studying is something that you sing about, you're interested in, that you've heard of.
The Elephant Patrol.
The physics of the Elephant Patrol.
It's a question rather droll. That's one of my favourite songs.
Droll was the word of the day on my laptop today.
Oh, that's fun.
The word of the day on MacBooks truly is random. I sat down at my laptop after getting a coffee the other day and it just said bigot in huge letters. I'm like, whoa.
Time to clear my search history, clearly. I've got Jeremy Clarkson's laptop.
So we are studying radioactivity today.
Radioactive, radioactive. Is that the song you meant?
Yes, you're allowed 3 of those. You've just used up 1.
Nah, that was before you put the rule in, so I've still got 3.
Fine, you're allowed 4. You've just used up 1.
Fine.
Yeah, we both win.
I agree to those terms. Radioactivity, that's exciting.
What do you know about radioactivity now, before we get into it?
Very little. Having a guess from months of context. What are you showing me?
A Nintendo Switch game.
Why are you doing that?
Just showing you.
Shit, Tom was meant to bring your Switch.
Did he not bring it?
I got you.
You did get me.
Yeah.
That would have been such a chore because for the listener, I really struggle to sleep. So I've struggled to sleep in a bed, let alone a plane. So I need this console. Otherwise,
have you got Animal Crossing? That's lovely to play.
I meant to ask you whether we could borrow any of your games.
Yeah, you should have done.
We haven't got any games yet.
Aren't you leaving tomorrow?
We're just going to download them.
Oh, get Animal Crossing. It's delightful.
Yeah, probably will. Going to get that. Going to get a Mario game, and I'm going to get a Pokemon game for me, and have a regression session while Judith drinks lots of red wine and passes out.
You can get Overcooked on the Switch too.
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
Anyway, you asked me a question.
Gnocchi, would you simmer down?
Well, is radioactivity, is that to do with splitting an atom or like forcing an atom into a weird situation?
So, sort of. You've kind of used language there as if someone is doing this to something. Which, like, an atom does... in some circumstances split during radioactive decay, but nothing is making it do that.
Right.
And no one is forcing it to do that. Okay?
So, what is radioactive then? A star's radioactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone tweeted us about stars today.
So, basically, it's just that some atomic nuclei are unstable.
Poor things. I know how you feel.
So then what they do is they give out some radiation, effectively energy, and then they become more stable.
Okay, so they've had too much coffee and they go for a run and they feel better. So an atom
It's more like had too much coffee, taken a dump, feel better.
What do you mean unstable? So it has so much energy in it, it's wobbling?
So no, it's just it's specific atoms. Like, you know, you might hear in, like, you know, a Mission Impossible movie or something where there's like a dirty bomb, where like they're talking about like uranium-235 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that's like carbon-12, you know. It is. That is saying basically how many neutrons there are in that isotope of uranium. Certain isotopes are unstable. Gnocchi!
But it's different to it just being charged.
Yeah, it's not charged. It does not have an electromagnetic charge.
But it has energy in it.
Everything's got energy in it.
But it has too much energy.
Surprise. It's unstable.
I don't know what you mean by unstable.
Well, it's radioactively unstable. It has the propensity to radioactively decay, effectively.
Okay, I don't know what that means, though. It's like fall apart, like bits start falling off it.
Yeah, so like I say, it can give off some radiation, and then it will become more stable. So there's three...
What does radiation... So radiation is energy?
In some forms. So that's what I'm about to say, is that there are 4 different types of nuclear radiation, okay?
Okay.
We have alpha particles. We've heard of these before. Can you remember when?
Is it in my mentions all the time when I put out a video of me being confident and funny, someone has to turn up and call me a fat bitch or that needs to shut her mouth?
No, and I told you I'd stop doing that.
You are not an alpha. Oh, Ronnie Honks. You little shy nerd hugging your noisy cat and teaching your sister about science. You are a little sub-beta boy. Alpha...
Wow.
What did you say it was called? Alpha what?
An alpha particle.
Alpha particle, okay. And then you asked me a question. You asked me what I was?
Those have come up in our travels before. Can you remember when?
Alpha particles. See, this is where you realise what a good invention computers are, because I could then search the words alpha particles and find them in my notebook. But because this is paper and pen like the past, I can't do that.
No.
Alpha particles. It's not ringing any bells, the listener will be shocked to hear.
What if I said the name Rutherford to you? Listeners are screaming at the podcast players right now.
Rutherford, what did he do? Was he the gold particles guy? Gold foil?
Yeah, so it was alpha particles that Rutherford shot at the gold foil.
Oh, well done, Greg.
So, fun fact, one of the people that helped Rutherford with this experiment was a guy called Geiger.
Makes lovely shoes.
You know when you see in movies and TV and that people checking out radiation, they've got those things that they point and then it goes like...
It's a Geiger counter.
It's a Geiger counter named after the person that worked with Rutherford.
Oh. So what are those?
What are Geiger counters?
No, alpha particles.
Oh. So alpha particles, they are made up of 2 neutrons and 2 protons.
No electrons, so they're just positive boys.
Yeah, so it's this positive particle made up of 2 neutrons and 2 protons. They just shoot out of the nucleus, basically.
Out of the nucleus? Yes, because the protons and the neutrons live in the nucleus, but the nucleus isn't a bag, it's just an area.
Yep. So, interestingly,
fast and loose.
Well, don't be rude. Interestingly...
Oh, mate. Don't
be rude, mate. Don't be rude when I'm talking about my alpha particle.
I'm telling you some facts here, buddy.
So, the 2 neutrons and 2 protons is the same as a helium nucleus. So what it's effectively done is just emitted some helium.
But with no electrons.
With no electrons, no, that's why I said helium nucleus.
It's not helium.
No, it's a helium nucleus.
Yeah. That's funny, isn't it, that they're alpha bros, but then if you get them inside you, you start talking like a squeaky little kid.
It is.
Science labs must be so shit, because every time I talk about all the cool bits of it, you just go, can we please get back to all the formality?
Well, that's why I didn't continue with science after my degree, / want to halfway through, is because like everything I did in the lab was just mixing colourless, clear solutions together, and then waiting 2 hours and then being like, oh yeah, that worked. Or most of the time, like, oh, that didn't work, but we get the marks anyway. So, Laura, you've got an unstable particle. It emits an alpha particle. What happens to the unstable nucleus that's left behind?
Has to adjust to what's happened. In somehow calms down, gets raggedier.
Becomes less unstable. That is part of it. But what property of that nucleus, the atom that it leaves behind, what changes about it?
Smaller.
Yes. What's it lost?
Helium.
Yeah. What's helium made out of?
2 neutrons and 2 protons.
Yep. So
it's less charged.
Yeah. It's lost 2 protons.
Yeah. It's lighter.
What do protons do?
Attract electrons.
Yeah, but the number of protons in an atom
defines the element.
Yes, so after it emits an alpha particle, it changes element.
Wowzers. I didn't really know if it was an element to begin with, to be honest, or if it was just a nucleus. The more I learn, the more raggedy all the initial learning I did becomes. Now I just don't know about anything. Earlier on, Ron, I had a complete space out in the kitchen because I spilled some tea everywhere and then I put a tissue in it to mop it up and then all the tea got in the tissue and then I was confused about whether the tissue was still a tissue because now it's technically in solution. And has any bonds happened there or is the tissue just wet? And what does wet mean anymore? Is my tea just forming and reforming all the time? It's horrible. I feel like the world is unravelling around me every time I learn a new thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you cope. I don't know how scientists cope. It's like the worst times of my depression when I felt like I could really see quite clearly how humanity was just this ball of sin eating itself. And now I feel like that about like a table. It's dreadful.
Yeah. I'm teaching a goat how to talk. Shouldn't have too many questions. Shouldn't be thinking on that level.
It's horrifying. Just the whole world is just, whoa, wibbling things. Anyway. So I might have some beryllium and then it spits out a couple of helium nucleuses and now it's lithium.
Well, it's spat out too, so...
I'm just saying for... Yeah. Don't worry about it, Captain.
Cool.
Ron, stop rubbing your eyes. I can't feel positive about my learning when you're rubbing your eyes like that.
No, you actually got there in the end, but it's just every time we've spoken about protons, we go through this argument where I make you say protons define the element. You then say something like, oh, so if we change the number of protons, we change the element. And then every time I say, yeah, but that doesn't really happen apart from in specific types of radioactive decay, and we'll talk about that later. And then you go, oh, okay. And then we're finally talking about it, and I don't know why I expected any different. You don't give a shit.
Oh, get off my case, because I've tried really hard this episode so far.
Yeah, we're having a nice time. Let's not spoil it.
I haven't even given no shits yet.
So the next type of particle is a beta particle.
Okay.
So a beta particle is a high-speed electron.
Ooh.
But this is emitted from the nucleus.
What? I thought the electrons were never in the nucleus.
No, and they're actually not before this. This is where it gets interesting again.
Sucked in and spat back out like a catapult.
No. So actually what happens is a neutron shoots out an electron.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So one of the neutrons in the nucleus shoots out this beta particle, a very high-speed electron. So it's shot out, and it's shot out an electron, which we know is
Negative.
Negatively charged.
There are electrons in neutrons.
So what do you think happens to the neutron?
It becomes a proton.
Exactly, yeah.
My God! Now even neutrons aren't what I thought they were.
Now, don't think that a neutron is just a proton with an electron inside
That's exactly what I'm thinking now.
But that's not what it is.
It sounds like it's what it is.
It's not what it is.
It really feels like if you're a thing and you spit out one thing and then you're another thing now, you are those two things.
But it's not the case. So don't worry about that.
Is that in a bag?
Nothing's in a bag.
Does this doesn't melt your little knob off at all? No. Sorry, I didn't mean to say knob.
It was weird. I didn't like it.
I meant noggin. Knob. This is too much, man. Oh, is this what taking LSD is like?
No.
No.
I've never taken LSD, but I can assure you, no.
When we finally get Dad on the podcast, we'll ask him. Maybe that should be a Patreon episode. We do LSD with Dad.
Drugs with Dad.
God, it's sad that our dad is way cooler than us. He's currently refusing to be on our podcast because he's not dorky enough.
Yeah, he's booked out. He's on off menu next week.
Oh, so an electron gets spat out of a neutron.
Hello.
My God. And nobody knows why this is happening.
I'm sure people do. It's a measurable and, predictable phenomena.
But we still don't know what radiation is.
Why not? Well, I'm telling you what radiation is. I've just told you 2 types of it. What?
Why
What?
why does it spit it out? What makes it spit it out?
It was unstable.
But right, okay, I need to clarify what this unstableness means. What does that mean? How can just some things hanging out together be unstable? What does that mean?
So, this is one of the barriers that we run into with this podcast every now and again is
Don't blame the podcast because science doesn't know.
No, science does know, but we're doing fucking GCSE, mate. Sometimes you've just got to accept things because it can't go into that much detail.
I can't understand things I don't know.
Yeah, but you've got to. But then this is another.
This was on my school reports constantly.
Yes, but this is another problem because you don't retain any knowledge, so all of it has to be explained all at once every time. Whereas, what would be super lovely, what would be just a little cuddle to my life, would be if we could just learn a thing and then build on it in a month or two.
I'm trying.
Oh, I know. It's not bashing you. It's just the way that you are.
I retain other things.
Yeah.
I know how to drive.
You got a different brain. You don't have a science brain.
No.
That's fine. Maybe we just shouldn't do a science podcast, but we're here now. Carol got a tattoo. We're locked in.
Yeah. Oh.
So again.
Oh.
Again.
I'm so proud that we're a tattoo, Ron.
Well, the rap that we came up with is.
Yeah, that's true.
High-speed electron ejected from the nucleus. So again, we've changed the number of protons in the nucleus, haven't we? But this time it's gone up.
Yeah.
Again, changes the element.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next one we've had, gamma radiation.
Gamma radiation. Oh, I hate Meghan Markle. I want to eat my gingerbread house so much.
Is that for Christmas?
No, I've already eaten some of it. I made it for my party that no one came to.
I understand.
My dad won't be on my podcast. No one comes to my podcast I do with my brother.
Ugh.
I think I hate my life. I think
Your life too.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Let's leave an edit break. 3, 2, 1. So the third type is called gamma radiation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laura, don't spiral on this because you've made up the dad thing and people couldn't come to the party because of the weather. So
No, it's good. Gamma radiation.
yeah. So gamma radiation isn't a particle at all.
Oh, for the love of fuck. Not a particle. Okay.
No, gamma radiation is electromagnetic radiation.
I agree, Gnocchi. It's electromagnetic radiation.
You're a bother.
So, the word radiation in this sense, it literally means particles or whatever are giving something out. Like a radiator gives out heat. So radiation just means like that. It means like, oh, 2 neutrons and a proton are shooting out, or an electron is shooting out. It's radiating something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that not what it means in all contexts?
But I have trouble with...
Or do you mean just because you think of radioactive decay
I think of
as such a
tub of
thing?
green goo.
Yeah, but that is radiating something.
Yes, and I'm starting to understand that now, that
Yeah.
radioactivity isn't... It's
So
kind
you-
of like, so what it's like, it's a bit like when we learned about cancer, and we learned that cancer is not a specific thing, there isn't a thing called cancer, there's not an element called cancer, there's not a liquid or whatever. It means uncontrolled growth of a previously normal cell, but now replicates unhampered. So I had to like reassess what my 36 years of understanding that word meant. And
Yeah.
that's just happening again now with radiation, where I've always known like a radiator means that, or she radiates warmth, you know, might be something somebody would say nicely about me in a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts. But now I'm learning that it's not like goop or a special type of radio wave. It just means things are coming out of atoms in an odd way.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, you know, like we were talking about with Geiger counters.
They measure radioactivity, yes.
So when they're doing that little ticking thing, literally what that is so the way that a Geiger counter works is it's a charge, it's a tube, okay, and the tube has a needle inside it, and there is an electric current run across the tube and the needle. When nothing is in there, no current can pass because there's too much of a gap between them. When a radioactive particle enters the tube, the electrical current passes between through that particle, and then that gives a little tick. So when they're walking up to the barrel of green goo with their Geiger counters, and you're hearing tick, 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 each one of those is a little particle going through the Geiger counter.
Right. And so things become radioactive around like power plants that have gone wrong and stuff because an energy creating experiment or thing has put a lot of energy out into the world, which has made these things unstable. So now they're too full of energy.
No, so it's a common misconception with these sort of things that being close to something that's radioactive, unless you get loads of that on you, you don't become radioactive.
Spider-Man.
So, like for example, there was a thought at some point that what you could do with all food, like chicken that you were selling or something like that, is you could irradiate it with gamma radiation, because what that would do is that would just kill all of the bacteria in that thing, and then you'd never get salmonella. You could eat chicken sashimi if you wanted to. If you wouldn't want to, but you could if you'd irradiated it with gamma radiation and just killed everything that was in it.
Right.
There was an uproar about this because people were like, we don't want radioactive chicken, we don't want like radioactivity near our food and stuff like this. Gamma radiation is electromagnetic radiation. This is exactly the same kind of radiation as light or heat. It is just at a different frequency. So thinking that would then make something radioactive is the same as like shining a torch on something and then expecting that thing to glow.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Good bit, Ron.
Thank you. And then, so the gamma radiation is electromagnetic radiation. It's a sine wave. It's it's literally the same type of energy as light or heat.
And is that, say someone now had no concept of what light and heat radiation was because their brain was a puddle in their feet. What do you mean? It's electrons moving in a funny wave.
No, it's electromagnetic. It's not electrons.
It's electric. It's electricity.
No, it's electromagnetic.
What does electromagnetic mean?
So the reason why it's called that is because it happens in two axes, and one of them is electric and one of them's magnetic, I think. But don't worry about that. Electromagnetic is just the name of it. That's just what it's called.
Okay, so gamma radiation is...
So you know how light, like a rainbow, is white light all spread out, yeah?
Yeah.
So what you are separating there is electromagnetic radiation at different frequencies or wavelengths.
And this is just energy. Light is just pure energy.
Yep.
So gamma radiation is pure energy.
It's a form of energy, yeah.
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 Okay.
So it's just at a different wavelength to visible light. So in the visible light spectrum, it goes from red to blue, yeah? Mm-hmm. So red has longer wavelengths than blue.
Yeah.
And then they get shorter and shorter and shorter from red to blue, and that's all the different colours. However, we, through our eyes, can only see a really small proportion of visible light is a small proportion of the electromagnetic radiation spectrum, we call it.
Yeah, because we've got like infrared and ultraviolet.
Exactly.
Just
so those are
past
the
ends,
immediate
aren't
ones
they?
on either side, but then you've got microwaves and X-rays. These are also just the same thing as light, just we can't see it. And X-rays are very long. Radio waves can be meters long, the wavelength on those. Gamma radiation is very, very high energy. That's why it's so dangerous. High energy, high frequency, short wavelength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it grouped in... It sounds like such a different thing to alpha and beta radiation. Why are they both radiation?
Because like you were saying before, because it is talking, it's using the word radiation just at its very basest sort of definitional form.
But radiation actually means a lot of things, doesn't it? Like just sound is radiation.
Yeah, well, to radiate from something, like radiate comes from like radius, like it's all just coming from a point.
So, but gamma radiation is nuclear radiation.
Yep, it is coming from the nucleus.
Okay, so, right, okay. Okay, that I hadn't grasped that. Okay, so gamma radiation, so it's an energy wave coming from a nucleus.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep. And then also on this list, it just says literally just a neutron. which I've never heard of as nuclear radiation. So we'll ignore that until it comes up again. Okay.
Okay. Who are you? I'll just write that down.
So, the different types of radiation, they kind of have different seriousnesses, basically. So alpha radiation, you actually don't have to, like, if someone handed you something that was emitting alpha particles, you shouldn't touch anything that's radioactive, as a rule. It's bad. It's bad for you. But alpha radiation, because it's such a massive particle, it's kind of like, if you shoot, it's like shooting a paintball at something. It's big and it just goes smacks against it, right?
Okay, yeah.
So alpha radiation can't even go through a sheet of paper.
Okay.
Beta radiation is smaller, high energy, so that can go through a sheet of paper, but would get stopped by like a thin plate of wood or like a fairly lightweight metal like aluminium or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of that reason, like beta radiation, I don't think you should be near it, but I think if you're like a couple of meters away in the air, I think you're safe as well.
Okay.
Gamma radiation, if you need several inches of like thick lead or iron or something like that to stop it, basically.
Right.
So gamma radiation is the really dangerous one because, even if you got a wall in between you and the source, it's still going to be getting to you. The best thing that you can do if you're near something that has gamma radiation coming out of it is to just get as far away as you can, because things like this obey an exponential law of intensity. So if you double the distance in between you and it, you square. It squares the how little you get, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. But didn't you say that one they were talking about using it on chicken?
Yeah.
So, what? How
radiation can be harnessed.
Okay. So we're talking about just wild radiation.
Well, like these things do crop up, and because like we haven't always had the understanding that we've got now of these things. So like every now and again you see a picture online of someone that's like digging through one of their granddad's like chests or something in the attic, and then they pull out like just a radioactive rod or something. Like these things do happen, and this is one of the problems that with nuclear energy in general, is that we are creating huge, vast problems for future generations that we have no idea what to do with. Because effectively what we've done by creating all of this radioactive waste is that there is something that's going to be there in perpetuity that could kill a person just by looking at it. They're not going to feel anything when they go near it. They're just going to get really sick 2 days later because it's going to wipe out their immune system and they're going to die. Like, what we've effectively probably done is create the devil for future peoples when they don't understand what is just making them sick, and there are just these cursed places that are killing them.
Oh. So when something is radioactive, there's no visible or feeling you wouldn't know?
Nope, doesn't glow.
Wouldn't be hot to the touch, or you wouldn't feel buzzing or anything?
No.
That's depressing, isn't it? Was it us talking about it? What was I listening to where they were talking about the problem of labelling radioactive waste?
We have talked about it. I think it was on No Such Thing as a Fish they talk about it.
That's it, yeah.
Have you seen those plates that they made and then put at the original nuclear test sites?
No.
So that was really interesting. They got a linguist to analyze language and work out from how words have been preserved up until now, how we could write a message that even if they didn't speak English in 2,000 years, they could, Rosetta Stone what we meant by these plates that we put at the initial testing sites. And it's really interesting. They're really scary.
I don't know if I want to be scared.
Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is not a place of honor. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here. Nothing valued is here. What is here is dangerous and repulsive. This place is best shunned and uninhabited. And they got a linguist to work out what words would still hold their meaning in a long time.
Huh.
Yeah, I saw another one where it was something about no courageous events happened here or something. Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah, I feel a bit sad now. I'm going to have another advent calendar chocolate.
Okay.
Oh no, I've eaten them all. No, I think there's some on the table. Hang on, Ron. Hang on, Ron. I found one.
Hooray!
What do you want to talk about now?
So we're going to talk about radiation a bit more.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, what they do sometimes is they do what are called nuclear equations to represent radioactive decay.
Oh, this is where it goes downhill.
No, these are actually all right.
You've said that so many times and it's been a lie. There'll be a supercut one day of you going no, this is actually really interesting. And then it's 9 times 8 to the power 4. Get it?
No. So, in a nuclear equation, we use it in kind of the format that you see things on a periodic table. So, He to be helium, a little 4 up at the top, that's the mass number, and a little 2 at the bottom, that's the atomic number. Do you remember what a periodic table is?
Yeah, I was actually just trying to remember what the atomic number meant. Is that the number of electrons?
No, we go through this every time.
Is that protons?
Yeah.
Because the mass is the neutrons, basically.
Neutrons and protons.
Yeah.
The difference between the mass and the atomic number is the number of neutrons.
I thought the neutrons were the heaviest bit.
They were exactly the same as the protons.
How can they if they've also got an electron in them?
Because as discussed before, they don't have an electron in them. Remember?
I think I chose to just not believe you. But then, for example, hydrogen is number 1 and is 1.008.
So what do you...
So the neutron only weighs 0.08?
There is no neutron in hydrogen most of the time.
Oh. Wow.
Remember that they're decimals because that's an average.
Yeah. So some
in very
isotopes.
So you do get very rare hydrogen isotopes. I believe it's called deuterium.
Oh, okay.
And I think you can get tritium as well, where there's 3 particles in it.
Wow. What were you saying? I'm sorry. Where were we?
We use this format where we've got the mass number at the top, the atomic number at the bottom, and then we use the chemical formula. So
mass number at the top. That's different to mine. Hang on.
Shouldn't be.
Mine's got number 1 at the top and then 1.008 underneath.
That's wrong. Well, it's not wrong. It's just not conventional.
Oh bloody hell! And I've got to start the notebook again. Oh yeah, it explains what everything is down there. Yeah. So beryllium, for example, if I was doing some nuclear beryllium, I'd write Be, And then I'd write 9.01 at the top and 4 underneath it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So an alpha particle we can represent as helium with the mass number being 4 and the atomic number being 2, because an alpha particle is essentially a helium nucleus, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my God, what? An alpha particle is basically a helium.
Yeah.
So if I'm depicting an alpha particle in an equation, He, 4 above it, 2 underneath it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, yep, okay.
So, and then a beta particle we depict as a little e to stand for electron. It's got a mass of 0.
I just want it to go down on the record that I'm choosing not to call bullshit because E has already been loads of stuff when it's a little e, but
What
that's
has it
fine.
been?
Like change or something.
No, that was famously delta.
What was E in that? E was in that. I know E was in
Yeah, it
that.
was a capital E for energy.
Oh. All right then. Little e.
Yep, little e. It's got a mass of 0 because it has no neutrons or protons. So the mass number is 0. And then as an atomic number, we give it a -1.
Oh, I think I love beta particles.
So, let's see if you can work this out, okay?
We can work it out.
We've got some radon.
Ooh,
219.
lolly bubble bath. Lolly bubble bath.
So, how would we represent radon 219 in this?
First of all, I've got to find radon on my periodic table.
I'm going to get some water while you do that.
There it is. It's Rn. Right. Bollocks, I've forgotten what he said. Now he's gone to get some water. Radon 219? Is that what he said? We got a 2319. Radon 219. I got radon 219. 219. And then I do my little 86 down there, because it's an 86er. Mr. Radon. Call him Mr. Radon. Call him Mr. Wrong. Call him insane. Sane. I know what I want, and I want it now. I want you, because I'm Mr. Radon. Radon. Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Ray Ron. Hey, Ron. Radon. My chocolate really worked to perk me back up.
Lovely. So, did you find radon?
Yes, I did.
So we've got some radon 219. How are we going to represent that?
Rn, 219 above it, 86 down below.
Beautiful. Okay, that's perfect. Now, this...
Thank you for that praise, Ron. I loved it.
You're doing really... We're having such a lovely episode today. We... Don't know why I said that. The radon decays via an alpha particle.
Okay.
So draw an arrow to the right from where you've written your 219 Rn.
I've written it really at the right-hand side of the page, so I'm going to have to do another one. Hang on. I wrote it over there. Okay. Rn, little arrow, yes?
Yep. So, an alpha particle has left our radon. What are we left
Goodbye,
with?
Elvis. So, it's now... it's now polonium.
Yep. And what does it weigh? What does it weigh?
How can I know that?
Because you know how much an alpha particle weighs.
How much does it weigh?
What's an alpha particle?
2 neutrons and 2 protons.
So how much does that weigh?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
219 divided by 86.
Why would
many protons it's got.
Yep. So it's lost. So what's the mass number? How do we...
219.
Yeah, but what is that? How do we get that?
I don't know. That's actually different to what's on mine anyway. Mine says 222.
Yeah, but do you remember how that's an average?
Yeah.
So...
Oh, yeah, this is 219. So that means it's got 219 neutrons.
Neutrons and protons.
Neutrons and protons.
Yeah, so it's lost.
Wait, 219
neutrons.
of each, or added together? They make
Added together.
Added together. Okay.
So
It's got 86 protons.
Yes.
Okay, so now I know I can work out how many neutrons it's
But
got.
we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. No. So it's got 219 neutrons and protons. That's how much it weighs.
Yeah.
It's lost 2 neutrons and it's lost 2 protons. How much does it weigh now?
270? 215.
Fuck me, yes, 215. Subtract 4.
But I already subtracted 2 off the bottom one.
Yeah, because both have gone down.
But it hasn't gone down by 4 and 2. It's gone down by 4 total.
Yeah, so the mass has gone down by 4. The number of protons has gone down by 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a birthday present to Tom tomorrow. I'm very glad it's just a big thing of children's scissors.
I make paper chains out of my science book. Okay, give me another one of those. I do one now.
Yeah, you do one now? Okay. Let me get some up so we're doing some proper ones. Spike size radiation equations. Okay, so uranium-238. Let's do that one. Uranium-238. Wait, sorry. Just while we're on the polonium one, what do equations need to be? They need to be balanced, right?
Yeah.
So...
plus
Yeah,
He42.
exactly. Nice. Great work. Give yourself a mid-lesson mark.
Yes! I'm going to play that ding noise so loud. Actually, this is you. Can you put it in really loud, please?
Maybe. This is Ron while editing. I'm not going to.
Okay, uranium-238, you said.
Yeah, that's going to emit an alpha particle.
I wish the periodic table was in alphabetical order. It's so hard to find anything.
Well, it's in ascending order of sort of size. So if something's 238, then
Oh yeah, that's going to be big.
yeah.
Oh, I think mine doesn't go up that far. Oh, there it is. It's because mine's got upside down numbers. That's what it was. That's going to lose a little helium as well.
Yep.
Okay, so easy peasy pie. That is now 90. So uranium turns into thorium.
Yep. Named after the Norse god.
Nice. 234.
Perfect. Easy peasy. Subtract 2, subtract 2.
Yes.
Cool beans. So there's another kind of decay that we can do this for. So, carbon-14 is prone to beta radiation.
Carbon-14 is prone to beta radiation. Ruh-roh.
Yep.
What do I need to do now?
So, we know what happens when something emits a beta particle.
Okay, it's going to spit out an electron, which has negligible weight,
Yep.
but it is going to gain a proton
Yep.
and lose a neutron.
Yep.
So it's going to become carbon-13.
Is it still carbon?
No, because it's gained a proton.
And why is its weight?
So it's going to turn into nitrogen.
Yep. And what's the mass of it?
The same.
Exactly, yeah. Because neutrons and protons weigh the same.
So it's going to be N1314.
Where's the 13 coming from?
Because it's gained a proton. It was carbon 12.
No, it was carbon 14.
It was carbon 14. I've added the wrong one. It's going to be N1215.
No. Where's the 12 coming from? Where's the 15 coming from?
12 is the number of neutron. No, it's N11. Because
No.
it's lost a neutron.
But it's
The
gained
12
a
is the
proton.
neutrons.
It's carbon 40 that we're talking about
Yeah.
for a start.
So it's going to become carbon N13
Why is it N13?
because it's lost a neutron.
But it's gained a...
Proton.
So?
Ah,
Because the mass number is the
it's
neutrons
this
and the
added
protons,
together.
isn't it?
Yes. N14 and 12. It's just the same number.
Yes, it's N14, 7.
7?
Yes.
Why has it gone 7 now?
Because it's gone from 6 to 7.
What?
There are only 6 protons in carbon.
Oh, where did I get 12 from?
I don't know.
Why have I written 14 there?
Because it's carbon 14!
Okay. So, now we're not writing down the mass anymore?
We are writing down the mass. 14 is the mass.
14 is the mass.
Are you okay?
It's because mine's flip reversed. It's difficult.
But don't look at that.
I have to find out the numbers.
I've
Otherwise,
told
I'd
you the
never have known
numbers.
that went
It's
to
carbon 14. It's an
How
isotope.
was I supposed to know that it went to nitrogen then without looking at the periodic table
Well, you
to
can
see
look
what
at
was
that,
the
but
next
then
number?
don't get the 12 off of it.
Well, I just am learning. So, it's carbon 14 at the top, 6 down below. 6 down
Taking
below.
you an awful long time to write this down.
You should see how many scribbles this has got.
I can't see because of your stupid fucking Japanese garden. Don't turn it off just to show me
I
this.
want to show you.
Fucking problem. Yep, that's scribbled out a bunch of times.
See? 6 underneath, 14 up the top, and then it's turning into N7, 14 up the top.
Yes,
Great.
grand. Plus,
An electron.
yes, nice.
But is that negligible, or do we write plus a little e?
Well, you do plus a little e because the mass is balanced, but then the e has a mass of 0, so that still balances. But the mass number doesn't balance, does it? Because we need the -1 of the e to add with the 7 to equal 6.
Yeah.
Because in all of these things, you can't lose or gain mass. It's an equation.
I thought you said the mass was
Equation
negligible.
equal. Yes, the mass is negligible. That's why the e has a 0 next to it.
Oh, above it.
Above it, yes.
And one below?
No, it's got a -1 below, doesn't it?
Right. I think we need to stop now, Ron, because it was going so well now. What wheels are flying off everywhere.
Yeah, we'll stop there. We could end on an interesting fact that the reaction we've just done there with the carbon 14,
Yeah.
that is how carbon dating works.
It's been an hour, Ron.
All right, we'll stop. I'm still trying to talk about that next time.
Yeah, because that does sound interesting, to be fair, but right now I can't start thinking about it.
Fair.
Thanks, Ron. I liked that episode.
Told you
lesson.
it'd be a nice physics one.
Yeah, it was good.
Not, man. I just edited the 2-hour special.
Oh my god, I wanted to die in that.
Neither of us come off well in that. come off like an imbecile, and I come off like a grumpy man.
We truly bring out the best in each other. All right, I'm going to try and hold on to some of this over this month
But this
break.
makes sense, right?
Oh, it does now, but let's play a sting and watch it be absolute trash apples.
But you just got to think, what's leaving? And then work out from there, because at the end of the day...
flick reverse it and add them together and remember it's
at
both.
the end of the day, it's subtracting 4 and subtracting 2, which...
If it's one or two things leaving...
If it's an alpha part, there's only 2 particles.
What if it's
leave.
2 particle alphas?
Well, then it's subtracting 8 and subtracting 4, something I'd also expect you to be able to do.
I can. Listen, I want to stop now before I say something horrible to you.
Okay. We'll see you for the quiz.
37 quiz, Ron. Okay. I'm recording. I'm worried, Ron. It's been months.
It's been 2 weeks?
No, we did this one before Christmas.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've only recorded once since we...
Yeah. Stop twiddling your moustache like a baddie. No. Yeah, we recorded this before Christmas, and then we stopped and did the Christmas episodes. So this has been like 2 months. So...
God, that feels like yesterday.
I'm worried.
What is the point of life?
Hey, but in 2 weeks' time, Ron, I'm coming to see you.
Yes, you didn't respond on what days you're not doing anything, because I'll take a day off.
Oh, yeah, I'll respond to that later. They don't need to hear that.
Yeah, do you remember what we were doing?
No, you just said radiation, though, so that sounds positive. Actually, do you know what? That does ring a bell, and I remember this as being quite interesting.
Yeah, I think we had we had one of our nicest physics episodes.
I think it was interesting, and lots of words that you use a lot, like radiation and things like that, made more sense. And I was like, oh, that's what's happening when you say there's
It's going to be a big surprise when we listen to this, what's in this episode. Right, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points available.
It's the return of the Ron's counting feature.
Mark that off on your sheets. Right, Laura, what are the different types of radiation? 5 points available. Can't remember how many of them we spoke about.
There are 4.
Are there? Because did you hear what I just said?
What did you say?
I said 5 points available.
Oh, bollocks. Now you see, because what I've written down in my notes here is 4 times nuclear radiation, and then I've written down 3 kinds. So this bodes well. I've written down alpha particle.
Oh, wait, no, there are 4.
Oh, that's good. Alpha particle.
Yep.
Beta particle.
Yep.
Gamma radiation.
Yep.
And then it gets
I don't know if we
murkier.
covered the next one, to be honest.
I've got written in brackets, it says a neutron, and then capitals afterwards, it just says, who are you? Is that anything?
Yeah, neutron is one of them. But I also don't know. I've never heard of a neutron just being radiation. I've heard of neutrinos being radiation.
A neutrino's like baby neutrons.
Essentially, they're very, very small part. Well, I think they're just neutral particles. Neutron radiation. Yeah, it is. I don't know if we covered that last time though. So you'll get 3 marks.
What?
We don't know how many. Yeah, for alpha, beta, and you get 4 marks.
Yeah, I should think
but,
so too.
yeah, we don't know if it should have been out of 4 or not, basically. Laura, what is an alpha particle, please?
2 neutrons and 2 protons, Ron.
Yep. Bonus mark if you can tell me what you could also call that.
Helium?
Yeah, it's a helium nucleus.
Yes!
Bloody hell.
That's not even written down, Ron! Oh no,
Really?
Everything's fallen on the floor. That's not even written down.
Wow. Should we start just recording and releasing this once a month? Do you
No.
just need a lot of time to marinate?
Based roasted. He's been marinated. You can have a point if you can tell me what film that's from.
The Wedding Singer?
No, Aristocats.
Oh.
It's about that dog.
I always hated that one when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't think we had it on video, so we didn't have the fondness for it.
What's a beta particle?
It is a high-speed electron spat out of a neutron.
Yep.
Wait.
What is...
An electron wouldn't be in a neutron.
It wouldn't be in a nucleus, but remember...
A neutron is a proton and an electron together.
Yes, but not in the way you're imagining.
No, but it needs to be. Once I've imagined a thing, it can't be changed. So, okay.
What is gamma radiation?
That is... It's an energy wave coming from a nucleus.
Can you describe the energy wave at all?
Wiggly.
I need more. There are two things you can say that will get you the mark. You don't have to say both of them.
Electromagnetic.
I'll give you it. Yeah, that was one of them.
Yes.
The other thing is that it's very high energy, short frequency.
Okay, I'm going to add that to my notes in one of my new
That's just learning on learning on learning.
High energy, short frequency.
Which are the same thing, basically.
Okay. I love that for us.
What, Laura, is the unit of radioactive decay?
Oh, that was a question we did, wasn't it? Is it half-lives?
Nope. A half-life is a quality of something that's radioactive, but it's not the unit of decay.
I know a Geiger counter is the thing that measures it.
Yep.
So is it
we
Geigers?
talked about how Geiger counters work. No.
Let me have a look at the notes. It might be written down. It's not. I'm going to kick myself when this comes up, though, because I feel like it's in here somewhere under a blanket. What letter does it begin with, Ron?
Right, you're going down to half a mark, even if you get
Half
this
a mark for one letter?
Yeah. The most important one.
All right, fair.
It begins with a B.
B. Ooh. Okay, maybe it's not in here. Maybe I was just thinking about a blanket.
It's not blankets.
B. Is it named after a person?
I presume, yeah.
B.
Not someone that I know about.
Baryonyx.
No, that's a dinosaur.
Yeah, it is a dinosaur. I don't know, Ron. I don't know. This is painful.
No, it's a becquerel, yeah.
No, I can't remember that. I imagine I made a
fine.
bechamel sauce joke.
Mabes. Maybe you did. Laura, finally, you just mentioned them. Could you describe what a half-life is?
Oh, that is the amount of time it takes for half of a lump of element substance to...
Radioactive substance.
Yeah, to half itself.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, awesome. Well done.
Yes!
Wow.
I'm so happy that you didn't ask me to do any equations because I can see loads of drawings on the other page. I was waiting for that to happen, but that is good.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about...
No, too late now. Quiz is over.
Shit. Oh, those are good, though. But I remember you getting that last time. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes in my notes it will say use syllabus for this because there's just no point in me writing it out again in a separate document, and I didn't look at the syllabus.
Well, I'm pretty pleased with that, given that that was months ago.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with that, actually. I think anyone that's come here for angst and squabbling...
Get away!
Yes.
Get ye
Get
to
away.
another... Don't go to another podcast, please. We'll probably squabble again in the outro. We did pretty well there, Ron. You didn't listen to it, did you?
I
You piece of shit.
No. Since I got back from Mexico, I've been in like the awkward stage where I'm editing them about 2 weeks before they go out. So then it's not long enough ago that I want to listen to them again. But yeah, I don't necessarily remember everything that's happened.
Yeah. I did listen back to this one, and I'm fairly sure there was a question in that quiz that did not come up in the lesson, actually.
Which one was that?
I can't remember now. I've forgotten.
Was it about functional groups? Because I've edited an episode recently, and I'm fairly convinced I've edited the wrong quiz onto it.
Oh, that's exciting. We'll check that content before it goes out. I love that we spend the first top of it like, hey, please give us some money to make this podcast, and then the end going, hey, it is dog shit, isn't it? But look, maybe if we got paid for doing it, we'd have the time to focus. Listen, speaking of you guys giving us your hard-earned cash, it's time to say thank you to our first batch of patrons. Not necessarily the first 5 that joined up. I don't know how Ron's decided to pull the list out and write about them.
Well, I wanted to do a post in case anyone didn't want their name read out. These people have commented, so implicitly have said they're fine with it. So, we'll give everyone a week to say if they don't want it, and then we'll just assume everyone else does.
Sounds smart.
You want to go first?
I feel like you've written them in your voice, so you should say them.
No, we'll do some each.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, I'll go first. So our first patron that we're thanking is Skylar McFarlane. Skylar is 100% the most hardworking lab worker we've ever had, and would be a credit to anywhere that decides to employ them. So we're basically, as a thank you for being a patron, we're offering you an official reference. If you ever need a job in a scientific role, just get your future employer to contact lexeducation@gmail.com and we will get you that job, mate. Thank you for being a patron.
That will make sense to Skylar, by the way. That's an in-joke I have with them. The next one is Jenny Ormrod, who we are very grateful for cleaning out the pool at the Animal Love Island Villa, although we do know she makes a fortune selling mola mola caviar on the side.
Oh, all you can eat. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. You just lie with your head out the back of the mola mola.
It's a regular skip scramble coming out the back of that fish.
Oh, yuck. Thank you to Kristen L., who is actually the guitar player for Bob Marley.
Keytar.
Keytar? What's a keytar?
Like
guitar,
the...
to be fair. Oh, okay, keytar player for Bob Marley as they cheer up the hoed-downing sad boys. Oh, yeah, Bob So this is a random one. No, I understand.
Are you kidding?
It's my simile. Ooh. Yeah, Kristen is the guitar player for Bob Marley while they cheer up the hoedowning sound boys. However, Kristen is leaving the band due to a past torrid love affair with one of the sound engineers, aka Neutrons. AKA Neutrons could be my rap name.
Okay, I like that. And finally, this week, Rebecca Green, who sells drugs to our dad.
Hey!
Legend.
So there you go. If you would like your own personalised shout out and to make sure that we can run the podcast forever and ever and ever and ever, then please go to patreon.com/Lexx Education and you will get a brand new shiny episode this Friday where we finally find out what glass is.
Woohoo!
Yay! All right, and see you next week.
Class dismissed, patrons and future patrons.